Do you think BMWs have like that distinct smell?
It was like crayons.
Yes.
And that was the first thing I noticed. And even my brother and the rest of my family were like, why on earth does it smell like crayons in here?
Also kind of, it's, I'm not saying crayons smell good, but it's kind of a pretty good smell.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
What's up, guys? I'm Harrison from Fast and Cheap here, and today we have a special guest and a special car. This is Matthias here, and he's the owner of this BMW 335D. Now, Matthias, how long have you owned this car?
Since October of 2020.
It's October of 2020 at the recording of this. It's about January 2021, so
22.
2022. Year and a couple months. Matthias, throughout the year, what's the absolute favorite thing about this car that you like?
I love how no one knows what it is. Like, I mean, I told my friend when I first got this, like, I bought a 335D, and he was like, 335i? And I was like, no, I said D. Like, it's a diesel. So, no one knows what this is. That's probably the thing that I love most about it.
That is really low key. And you said that they only made a few of them this year, right?
Yeah, so they made 1,100 in 2009, 1,700 in 2010, and 7,000 in 2011. So they only made them for 3 model years in the United States.
It's incredible. And this specific example, yours is an 09?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. No car is perfect. What is one thing that you would have liked?
I would like to not have the emission system on there because it's a diesel emission system, so you have the DPF, the DEF, and I mean, we bought this for about $8,000 and we're into it for about 20. So to say, like, you can do the math yourself. I mean, it's not cheap to own.
Is that from working on or like replacing emissions parts?
Yeah.
It's
Pretty much everything that's gone wrong with it has been emissions related.
Did the things that you repaired, I'm sure you wanted, the best order it would be in. But would those things be deferred? Would that maintenance be deferred? Would it affect the car completely?
So it would affect the car completely because if, for example, like if you just don't have any DPF fluid, which is diesel exhaust fluid, if you completely run out of it, the car will not drive at all, just because you don't have any fluid in it. Because the EPA says you have to, because in order for this car to comply with emissions, it has to have the DPF fluid.
Okay.
So
a computer would prevent you from
yeah.
starting the car
Yeah.
and driving. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. What to someone who is on the hunt for a 335 and watching this video, what would be the one tip you would share with them when looking at potential car? Something maybe to look for or keep an eye out for.
I'd say look for one with a good maintenance history and don't just buy one from someone that has high miles. I mean, make sure that it looks in good condition because that'll say a lot about the person who owned it prior to you. And yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. Now these cars, these bodies are aluminum, right? No.
Steel.
They are steel. Okay. Very interesting. So, do you happen to know? I'm just curious. I apologize for my ignorance, but are there any common rust points on these cars?
Not really too much. I mean, I know the E46 Generation 3 Series prior to this that had like rust issues on the under the fuel filler door, I think. But they switched over in this generation to plastic surround inside the fuel door, so it won't rust.
Gotcha.
But I mean, there's not too much to rust to speak of.
Okay. Very interesting. Awesome. Now, as a diesel, what type of fuel economy do you get when you set the cruise to 60
The highest I've had is 40.
That's awesome.
So
That's really
I think that's pretty good for having a straight six and 2 turbochargers. So
can't beat it. Yeah, is yours modified at all?
no, not yet.
Okay.
All right, so let's start in the trunk here. So right now I've got a shovel in here because it's rear wheel drive, and wintertime in Ohio with a rear wheel drive car is not always, not always too great. It's a decent sized trunk. Actually, the rear seats, everything basically is an option with BMW. So fold down rear seats, that was an option. And this one does not have it, so the cargo space is kind of limited by that. And then like over here, the battery's actually in the back over here, and it's pretty big, and it has like that black brace over it, and I have no idea how on earth they expect you to change that if the battery to fail on the road.
Have you had that happen at all?
No, fortunately not yet. So.
Hopefully it doesn't.
And I also find it pretty ironic how BMW has their roadside assistance right here on the battery cover. So that black brace is probably because they want you to take it to the dealer. So
yeah, looks like you have plenty of room in that trunk. Want to go around and take a look at maybe the inside of the car?
yeah. One thing also about here is I love how these struts are here, because like some cars have those gooseneck hinges that come down and crush your cargo inside, and I love how it's got these struts on there. So I mean, I can pack this thing full and not have any issue closing the trunk. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I've definitely had that issue on my car.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we can go back seats.
Yeah.
The tan leather interior.
Yeah.
Looks plenty roomy. It's really clean in there as well.
Mm.
Nice little BMW chime.
BMW chime, yeah.
It's iconic.
Yeah, and it's all overall really clean in there. Very nice.
Yeah.
Is it comfortable?
Yeah, it's really nice. One thing I do wish the car would have is right here you can see little cutouts for where the luxury seat package would be, and that would give you lumbar support and extending thigh cushions.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Another
in there,
option
though.
which this does not have. Everything's an option.
You basically build a BMW to your own specifications.
Yeah.
But very cool. And then next, I guess, do you want to show the engine off?
Yeah. The
As
heart
you
and
call
soul.
it, the heart and soul.
Yeah.
I think I would butcher opening your hood.
Now you notice the kidney grills here are normal size, unlike the new M3 or something like that.
It's tastefully done, not
Yep.
obnoxious. No, I think they're kind of growing on me. The
Yeah.
new ones. It's like I think it's an acquired taste.
This was actually designed during the Bangle era,
Okay.
so Chris Bangle and all that.
He was the post E38 7 Series, the one after the E38.
Yeah, the Bangle
Did he design that one? That's
Yeah.
what I thought. That's what I
the ones
thought.
that get
Yeah.
all the hate.
Yeah, yeah.
And something a lot of people also don't know is the E46 was designed in the Bangle era as well. So he had oversight in the E46 as well, which a lot of people think is one of the best looking BMWs ever made.
Well, obviously, people at a first glance think of this as a regular BMW, but this is where it's special. Do you mind telling me a little bit about the motor?
Yeah, so it's got 265 horsepower, which doesn't seem like a lot, but diesel engines are all about the torque, and it has 425 pound-feet of torque.
Wow.
Which, that's enough to pull down a tree or something. It's a lot of power. The Ram 5.7 Hemi doesn't have as much torque as this engine has.
Wow.
So
You can pull little boat behind this thing.
Yep.
Very cool. So it's a 3-liter,
Yes, twin turbo.
twin turbo, and then it's an inline 6.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now, is this the same or similar engine that they put in these generations, like X5 diesels?
Yes.
Okay,
The exact same.
gotcha,
Very cool.
gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen one of these cars before, or at least realized that I've seen one of these cars before. And I don't know a whole lot about them, and this is very cool. Those torque numbers are massive.
Yeah. I've only seen one other 335D in my entire life, and that was at an auto show.
Okay.
So,
Wow. You ever get to dust anybody on the road?
yeah,
Unsuspecting.
yeah. So this is one of the last BMWs with an actual dipstick over here. Because after that, they went to the electronic dipstick, which they've had a lot of. They're really finicky. They're not good.
Does this also have a trans dipstick, or is that electronic?
No,
Okay,
I'm not entirely sure where you check the trans.
gotcha.
Might be a closed system.
But one other thing I forgot to mention is this actually has the optional bi-xenon HID headlights, and they're auto leveling and auto swiveling.
Wow.
So they
turn with the wheel.
interesting. That's
And-
awesome.
And something a lot of people also don't know about HID headlights is they actually contain a small amount of mercury.
Really?
So, on another thing over here, something that I really love about this BMW is it has little baskets in the drains in here, and it collects all the leaves for you so it doesn't get clogged in your drains.
Wow.
So that's actually really nice.
That's really
I
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're recording.
Here inside in the 335D, just gonna go for a spin here. So you say suspension stock,
Yes.
right? Okay. Brake stock,
Yeah.
pretty much. Okay. That's awesome.
Oh, where should I go?
You can probably go left or actually, oh yeah. Left is fine. Left is fine. Woo-hoo! Man, you can feel it. You can feel it pull. You're definitely right. Once a boost builds,
Yeah.
it's you're gone. Now I know these couplers usually go out. They're good.
So they both work, but I mean they're kind of that one's stuck
It's
and
probably
they go all
because
the way
it's
down.
4 degrees. But
Yeah, and I never use them because they're trash.
You feel a little wheel spin there.
That's awesome. No, this thing is really quick. And it looks, I'm a big fan of cars that look low key but are bats out of hell.
Yeah.
And this just looks like it's low key, you
Yeah.
know, just real calm and, you know, doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, like a. Oh my gosh.
You're gonna be able to see on the video. I'm gonna be when you do those pulls, my camera goes up. It's just kind of a, you know, it definitely pulls.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool.
This is incredible.
Yeah, this is really a special car.
Yeah.
What do you think is the main worrisome issue on these cars?
The emission system.
Just the emissions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The engine itself is pretty much bulletproof.
Okay.
It is a diesel.
The trans as well is pretty bulletproof.
Yeah, so it's a ZF 6-speed.
Okay.
You could not get a 335D in the United States with a manual transmission or as a coupe or as a wagon or as a grill.
Really?
So they were only available with the 6-speed auto and the sedan because the manual transmission couldn't handle the torque. Because
okay.
actually I believe until the M3 CS came out in, I forget what year it was, but I'm pretty sure this had the most torque out of any 3 Series ever made until the M3 CS came out.
Okay, well, there we go.
Oh man, that's awesome. My seatbelt locked up.
Do you, just as a diesel, as owning a diesel car in general, do you ever, are you ever hard up to find diesel fuel, like at a station?
Not really.
Okay.
The only trouble that I've had is BMW uses I think they use a different size diameter filler neck for the diesel fuel so that you don't accidentally put regular gasoline in it, because regular gasoline filler nozzles are smaller than the diesel ones.
Oh.
So you seriously can't put regular gasoline in this car because the nozzle won't fit.
I'm sure one too many people made that mistake at one point.
Yeah.
That's a good precaution, but are you saying that some stations have the gasoline diameter for their diesel dispensers, and you found an issue with that filling up? Or?
Not really.
Okay.
It's just I found that some of the diesel filler nozzles are too big for this car.
Oh, gotcha.
So they have a adapter in the back where you can stick it in case it has too big of a filler nozzle.
And I gotta say, it's obviously impossible to show this on camera, but these heated seats are absolute furnaces. They feel so great, especially on a day that's 18 degrees.
Yeah.
It's
Wow, it warmed up.
It did warm up. Yeah, we were almost single digits too. So.
Oh, that's another thing. So like, a lot of people get worried about buying a diesel car because they have heard the stereotype that they don't like to start in the cold. But with these modern diesel engines, they start just like gasoline cars, because I think the coldest day I've ever started it was -3 outside, and I turned it on, the glow plugs glowed for a second, and it started right on. I mean, it's not the happiest because you can hear a lot of diesel clatter, but it just doesn't care. It starts.
That's all. And
every time.
you've never had a need for a block heater or anything like that.
No.
It's just started up.
Yep.
And even with the miles it's got, it starts up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great stuff.
So the original sticker price for this car was $45,000.
Oh, and what are your driving impressions? First impressions?
Well, the steering feels very tight, but I really like it. Steering being tight is a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like a good daily driver car with, that offers you plenty of fun when you want. All right. Well, once again, big thanks to Matthias for letting us review his car. In summary, I think this car is really cool, really hard to find, and it's something that is a great conversation starter for a lot of people. Just even explaining what it is, because I know Harrison and I have learned so much about this car that I mean before today I barely knew this thing existed, and then now I know a lot about it, and it's very cool, and it's a whole heck of a lot faster than I thought it was. So yeah, thank you again, and that's a wrap for our video.